The American Civil War, which raged from 1861 to 1865, forever altered the United States' trajectory. But what if the winds of war had shifted in favor of the Confederacy? What would a world with a victorious South look like, and how would it affect global politics, culture, and economics? Let's dive into this alternate reality. Two distinct nations on one continent, had the Confederacy emerged victoriously, the resulting bifurcation would have seen two distinct nations, the industrialized Union in the North and the agrarian Confederate States in the South. Economic paradigms: the North, facing economic challenges without the South's agrarian engine, they'd likely intensify industrial pursuits, forging closer ties with Europe, particularly Britain and France. The South, with an agrarian backbone, especially cotton, strong trade relationships with European markets would flourish. Yet, an over-reliance might also mean economic vulnerability in the long run. The slavery question: the institution might persist longer. Nevertheless, global trends against slavery could eventually compel a transition, possibly to systems resembling serfdom or sharecropping. Global politics: a power balance shift, the division would have massive implications. European powers, keen on leveraging the split, might play the two against each other, disrupting the power dynamics of the 19th century. Cultural evolution in the shadow of war: the North, an emphasis on resilience, unity, and industrial prowess would shape its arts, literature, and academic pursuits. The South, a culture anchored in victory, agrarian life, and conservative values could see a proliferation of works romanticizing the Confederacy's struggles and triumphs. Westward expansion: a new frontier of conflict. With both nations eyeing westward territories, one might witness a series of skirmishes or even structured conflicts as both entities vie for land and resources. Innovation and technological advancements: the industrial North might take significant strides in technology, perhaps leading innovations in steam power, railroads, and manufacturing. The South, while slower, could make advances in agriculture tech. Religion's role post-war: while both entities had Christian majorities, the interpretations and societal implementations might diverge, with the South potentially adhering more closely to conservative interpretations. The World Wars: altered alliances? A divided America might approach global conflicts like the World Wars differently. Their involvement, or lack thereof, could have drastically reshaped the outcomes and subsequent geopolitical landscapes. Civil rights: in a fragmented nation, the North might witness movements for civil rights earlier due to its stance against slavery. The South, in contrast, might see a delayed yet potent civil rights push, with a unique set of challenges. Economic diversification: the limitations of a primarily agrarian or industrial economy might push both nations towards diversification, the South embracing more industries, and the North considering agriculture. Reunification: a distant dream. Echoing the sentiments of a shared history and culture, voices in both nations might call for reunification. Yet, the terms of this reunion would be hotly contested, with memories of the Civil War looming large. Infrastructure and urbanization: the North, in the wake of the war, the North's push for industrialization might lead to rapid urbanization. Cities like New York, Boston, and Chicago could grow at unprecedented rates, becoming hubs of innovation and commerce. The South, while cities like Richmond and Atlanta would still develop, the pace might be slower, with an emphasis on preserving the agrarian lifestyle. Education and intellectual movements: the North, educational institutions might lean heavily into science, technology, and liberal arts. With a more diverse populace, schools could become grounds for early civil rights movements and progressive thought. The South, there could be a stronger emphasis on classical education, with institutions promoting Southern values. Yet, foreign influences and the undeniable progress of the North might push some Southern intellectuals towards reformation. Artistic expressions: in a split nation, the cultural divergence between the two nations would be most evident in their art. Southern literature might extol the virtues of the noble Confederacy, while Northern works could focus on themes of unity, progress, and resilience. Global economic impacts. With America divided, global economies would adjust their strategies. European powers, in particular, might exploit this division, forming separate trade and diplomatic relations with each nation. Diplomatic ties and global politics. The world would have to navigate the diplomatic intricacies of two American nations. The North, likely forming alliances with nations that align with their industrial and progressive ideals. The South, their agrarian and conservative values might form ties with nations with similar economic structures. Military complexities. The North, they might focus on building a strong navy to protect their interests and trade routes. The South, given their victory, they would have a seasoned military and could prioritize a robust ground force. Exploration and innovation. The race for new territories and innovations wouldn't stop. The North might lead in areas like railway technology, while the South could make strides in agricultural technologies. Cultural exchanges and tourism. Over time, there could be a rise in cultural exchanges between the two nations, with tourists seeking to experience the unique facets of each territory. Media, propaganda, and information flow. In an era predating the Internet, newspapers, radio, and later television would be the primary sources of information, with each nation's media houses championing their causes. The role of Native Americans and other minorities. In this alternate history, the fate of Native Americans and other minorities would be significantly impacted, potentially leading to varied alliances or conflicts. Maritime power and naval dominance. Both nations would invest in their navies to ensure maritime security and control trade routes. Trade relations with Latin America. The South might intensify trade and diplomatic relations with Latin American countries due to its geographic proximity. Music and the arts. The musical and artistic expressions would differ, reflecting the triumphs, challenges, and ethos of each nation. Education and scholarly pursuits. Institutions in both nations would evolve to reflect their unique challenges, aspirations, and societal values. Conclusion. Speculating on the Confederacy's victory underscores the fragility of history and how singular events can pivot the course of nations. While we can only speculate, such exercises underscore the importance of understanding our past to navigate our future better.